If you've ever played a trading card game before, you know just how expensive it can be. Between opening sealed products, hoping you'll get the exact cards you're looking for, or paying for individual cards off of websites like TCG Player, trading card games can be an extremely expensive hobby. Unfortunately, the case isn't much different for the One Piece trading card game, with many of the meta decks being comprised of high-priced staple cards and many of the best-looking cards being locked behind a paywall. The hobby can get expensive quite quickly. For many card game enthusiasts, this drives a wedge between the desire to be competitive and the health of their bank accounts. But just like our future king of the pirates, we have to start somewhere. That's why I'm going to be taking on the challenge of starting from a singular One Piece TCG starter deck with a weekly budget of $10 to go towards upgrading my deck and $5 going towards weekly tournament entry. Do you think I'll be able to manage the challenge of taking down my local competitive scene? Or will the restriction of playing on a budget have a greater impact than we can even imagine? Let's find out. Welcome to Budget Pirate Progression. Welcome back, Pirates, for week number 6 of our Budget Pirate Progression series. I'm very excited for this week as we've made a lot of changes moving forward to our strategy. Wanted to get prepared for the OP10 format, and I'm really excited to show you guys what I have prepped for this week. But before we get into that, we have our weekly tournament entry packs to crack open. So let's go ahead and do that before I show you guys what changes we made. Alrighty folks, we have our tournament entry packs from last week. We're going to go ahead and crack these open and see if we can get anything that we can add to the deck list. Continue to look for our Kamazo, see if we can finally get one. And there he is, Hito Kiri Kamazo. That's going to be a nice one to add to the deck. Let's see what else we got here. Another Portgas D Ace. Edison. Charlotte Pudding. Ogre Law. And in our last entry pack, looks like we got another copy of Shura. Got the one card that we were really looking for this week. We'll go ahead and throw this into the deck list, and I'm going to pop over and show you guys what we picked up for this week. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's budget, we took a completely different route than normal. Normally we invest our $10 to pick up things that we can add into our Purple Luffy deck, but you all commented down below and told me that you wanted to see a new leader enter the fray. And so we were able to invest our $10 this week into an entire complete deck that we could look into taking to a future week of locals. And that leader is none other than Marshall D. Teach Blackbeard himself. This leader came out in OP09, and thankfully most of the deck is very low rarity and can be made on a budget, and a lot of the more expensive cards in the deck currently have a budget option for them. And this deck is very oppressive going into OP10 and OP11, so we can look to upgrade it in the future as well. For our budget deck list, let's get right into it. We got 4 copies of our big Marshall D. Teach, 4 copies of Van Augur, 4 copies of Jesus Burgess, 4 copies of Shiryu, playing 4 copies of One-Legged Soldier. This is in place of the Laboon that most lists are running, as we need a way to be able to minus the cost of our opponent's characters. We can't do it every single turn because One-Legged Soldier has to trash himself, but it is a 2 cost and a 2k counter in hand, so it balances out a little bit for a budget option. Next up, we have 4 copies of Doc Q, 2 copies of Vasco Shot, 4 copies of Stronger, 4 copies of Lafitte, 4 copies of Black Hole, 2 copies of Truno Bastardo. This is our budget equivalent to Finger Pistol. Does not have a great trigger option. However, it will allow us to KO up to a 4 cost, and if we somehow have 15 or more cards in our trash, we can KO up to a 6 cost. Next up, we have 4 copies of My Era Begins, 4 copies of Full Lead, Stage Card, and finally to round it out, 2 copies of Ice Age. Some people play this as a tech option, some people just like it as a budget method to be able to reduce characters further, because we do have some budget restrictions going on for us. But we were able to pick up this entire deck for $10 on the dot, and on top of that, a friend that we picked up most of the core from was willing to throw in a couple extra commons for us because they're just a couple pennies. So we're going to add these to the deck list along with that Kamazo for Purple Luffy, and then we're going to head over to locals. We'll see you there. I'm not sure about anyone else, but I feel like Locals Day is the day in the week that I look forward to most. Made it to the locals here at the comic book shop in the Valley, and we are getting ready for round 1. We made it just on time. I'm going to see if I can scope out any trades, get some B-roll footage for you guys, and then I'll update you guys after round 1. See you in a minute. Sometimes you just get that feeling towards the middle of the game that things aren't just going your way at all. I played very poorly that game. I ended up pairing against Smoker for round 1, and I played pretty greedy. In hindsight, I could have played that match a lot better, but I learned a lot throughout the game. Real talented opponent that I played against, and he pointed out a few flaws in my play that I had already seen, but it was very helpful to get a second perspective on it. So heading into round 2 now, we're going to see if we can pull things around. Update you guys soon. Alrighty folks, round 2 is in the books. We paired up against Nico Robin, and yet again, I didn't play the most optimal. I ended up getting the game in the end, but there was one turn where I was stuck between decisions of what I wanted to do, and then I ended up just not doing anything. I had a bunch of active Dawn, even though there were multiple plays I could have gone down, but I'd already used my small swing, so it didn't make sense to go with either of the plays. So I think I just need to take a moment, recollect my strategy, and move back into round 3. Hope to update you guys soon. Well, folks, that's round number 3 in the books. We paired up against Bonnie, and just like last time, my opponent ended up not seeing a whole lot of cards. They saw their searchers, but just kept seeing more searchers, so that wasn't great for them. We ended up seeing everything we needed. I played optimally, as best as I could at least, and we ended up taking the game. So we are 2-1 heading into the last round. Update you guys soon. Another finish to another weekly tournament. That's the end of round 4. I paired up against Black Yellow Luffy, and I kind of saw everything I needed to. Charlotte Linlin 9-cost Big Mom is very impactful in that matchup because Black Yellow Luffy wants to go down to 0 life as fast as possible and be able to use their leader ability to stack their life, along with 8-cost Gecko Moria, so they just keep getting to increase their value, increase hand size. So being able to stack one on top of his life made it really hard for him to get his momentum going. I flooded a full board out and then just ended up taking the win. So we ended it this week 3-1. I'm gonna record up pack prizing and then we'll see you guys back at home. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're not able to tell, it has unfortunately been a few days since locals had some stuff happen and come up as soon as I got done with the tournament, so I was not able to record a outro and finish up for you guys, but I want to make sure that we did a recap of the tournament for you guys and show you what we got for pricing since we did finish 3-1. Overall, had a great experience with Purple Luffy as we always do. We're looking into taking Blackbeard potentially next week as a way to try and mix it up, given that there's not a lot of dopies going around the local scene, and we want to try a strategy that will take us well into OP10. And since we did finish 3-1, we were able to get 2 packs of OP08. So I'm going to go ahead and open those up for you guys in a second. If you've not had the opportunity to do so yet, please go ahead and like the video for me. It shows a lot of support, shows me you guys like what I'm doing with the series so far. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you can follow along on the Budget Pirate series. And then I'm going to go ahead and crack open these packs for you guys real quick. As always, we have our 2 packs of OP08 that we got for pricing this week. Let's go ahead and crack them open and see if we have anything we can either add to either of our decks, or if we can add something to the binder. 1 copy of Speed Jill, Shuru, Charlotte Cracker, Miyagi, Giovanni, Can't Take Our King, Ulti, Kuromiro, Chess Marimo, Thatch, Dr. Kreha, and Dr. Hurla. The second pack here. Biscuit Warrior, Miyagi, Ushuru, Candy Maiden, Elgara, Baron Tamago, Can't Take Our King, Charlotte Custard, Edward Weevil, S-Shark, S-Hawk, and SP Gecko Moria. This is a big hit that we will be able to throw into the binder and might be able to get some trade bait to be able to upgrade either one of our decks. go ahead and add this to the binder, throw all this with the rest of our bulk, and we'll update you guys here in a second. When I tell you guys I had no expectations for what I was going to pull in those packs, I can't even express it enough. That is a lot of momentum going into future weeks. I'm going to be looking to do a breakdown video for round 4 for you guys that shows my entire thought process throughout the match, as well as a potential guest if I can get him on to break down his thoughts during round 4. And we're also going to be looking into making some adjustments towards the Blackbeard deck. If there's anything else that you guys want to see happen on the channel, go ahead and drop it down below. I'm also going to be doing a deck profile for the budget Blackbeard list. Again, any support that you guys show is very much appreciated, and we'll see you next time.